It's time to go win a locals with Marincess. Remember I said a couple weeks ago or a week ago at this point that
I do want to show you guys this deck in action. So next week or the week after maybe, I will go to locals and I will play Marincess and
see how it does. I haven't been to locals in a long time. I don't know what to expect. I don't know if there will be a lot of fire players. Hopefully there will be good opponents and good decks to show off what Marincess can do. And I'm hoping I can also do well. I don't want to just scrub after saying this deck is playable. But you know, besides that, I also have to build a side deck because the deck I showed didn't have one. So I kind of threw cards together from which I had, and they meant a lot of subpart choices. But a couple principles you want to keep in mind, at least that went through my head when building this, was I wanted something that covered matchups my main deck wasn't as well prepared for, so I also had a way to side out the cards that were dead in certain matchups. Ghost Ogre was for Voiceless Voice. It hits the spells and traps, so it stops their searches and also stops some of their follow-up and some of their protection, and felt like that would be good. And then I also wanted to decide Crow Bestial for that matchup as well, but then also something for tier. Both those felt like were decks that could give my deck a hard time, and I wasn't super prepared for. I also wanted to have stuff for going first, so that's why there's Strikes and Truncheon on my deck. However, I would probably play a different Dimension Ground or Deck Lockdown or a Fish Shark before that. And the reason you want those is, I said this deck is good against hand traps. However, Nibiru specifically you aren't good against, so I wanted some sort of countermeasure so that in case I got Nibiru, I'd feel like I can live a turn. And if you get Nibiru, it's not like you're out of resources in this deck, it's just like you pass your turn. So yeah, you just have to make sure the turn gets passed back to you, and that way you'd be good to go. So while it's not the most optimal side deck, it still accomplishes very similar things to what I'd want, and I want you to keep that in mind. But anyways, let's head off to locals. Don't want to be late.
all right, and we are into the tournament. Yeah, so round one of the locals here. I'm gonna do this kind of vlog style, similar to Steven or Triff Gaming, where I just gonna voice over my games, talk you through my choices. You're not just watching raw footage. And I apologize, I tested the lighting and I thought it was decent, but ended up not being the best while I'm actually playing. So bear with me, and if I do this again, if you guys like it, then I will get better. And maybe I'll bring my own lighting equipment to, offset the glare that we'll see on some of the cards. Another thing before we start is I did talk to Marincess Master Herman Hansen, and he insisted I play Desires over Prosperity in this deck. He said I was being too cautious about how important Banishing Dive or Wave was, and I really wasn't valuing the cost attached to Banishing for my extra deck. He said I was undervaluing that. So I did switch that along with the side deck. Those are the changes from my last video, Desires over Prosperity. And I win the roll here. I'm feeling pretty good. Gonna go first. My hand is actually really strong. I do take a second to kind of think through my plays because, for one, I'm not used to playing with Toad. I do play this deck. I played it a year ago, so it's a bit rusty, but I played it a year ago in preparation for Master Duel Worlds. And in Master Duel with no Toad, I didn't have the same lines to play around Nibiru. I had to do other stuff. So here, when I opened up Tang plus Pascalis, and I also have a Spring Gull in hand, I'm thinking, okay, I can make Toad here before I even make a Marincess Link, right? I just wanted to make sure those were things I could do, while also not being vulnerable to other hand traps, right? Because if I'm going to commit all these bodies just to lose to a Veiler, then that's not even worth negating with Toad. I'd rather just push through other ways. So yeah, the Bobbit comes down, and if he has Imperm plus Nub here, this will suck, but if he has Imperm on this, then I can still do my full combo, and I'm not super concerned. Because here, even if I get negated on a Sea Angel or whatever, I can very easily be Coral Enemy, keep playing that way. And he's just got to read all my cards, it's not the most normal deck. And I'm not going to mill with the Spring Gull here. I don't want to risk milling something important. If you discard a Wave or a Battle Ocean or whatever, you can add it back. But I wanted to add back, other cards instead. I sent the Seahorse here because I wanted to add the Extender. And then the other thing you want to do with what I did here is I still want to make sure I get to resolve the Blue Tang Link Away effect. So here I'm going to leave up the Seahorse at first. And I'm going to make Coral Enemy here. And this is a different zone. So when I revive the Blue Tang, I can link that away now for the Sea Angel and resolve my effect here. And if I hit the Dive or the Battle Ocean, I can search the other, so I'm not concerned about that. I get a free Seahorse, which is nice because that's going to easily be a discard for Triangle. It pretty much guarantees me a wave without having to use a valuable card. The Toad will also get back another card, so I just have infinite follow-up at this point. I'm feeling very comfortable, right? Worst case he nibs me here, I have a shit ton of cards still. If he nibs in the Triangle, then I have even more follow-up. And then I have two other cards in hand you guys didn't see. It's both hand traps, so this is a just phenomenal hand. Going through the lines, and I chain block here with Battle Ocean. Battle Ocean's not once per turn, so I can use it multiple times. Spring Girl back here because I'm going to discard the Seahorse. Spring Girl's better extender for next turn. He's going to read here, just double checking everything does. I think I forget to resolve the battle ocean, but it ultimately doesn't matter because, yeah, you're just going to link it away and use it again. Not an excuse, though. You do want to resolve your effects properly. I got ahead of myself. That's a bad habit. You want to, play as by the books as you can. Shortcuts aren't recommended. I think I do another shortcut here. Don't do as I say, not as I do. I should be re-triggering my effects. Just for clarity for my opponents, they don't get confused, especially if it's a deck they don't know. And yeah, so battle ocean triggers again. You reattach 3, same shit. Yeah, and he's just clarifying that the Crystal Heart wasn't used, so I tell him, yeah, it's still affected, but the wave would make it unaffected again. So yeah, I have several layers of interruptions here. The Toad and the Argonaut should check any sorts of talents, imperm for monsters. Yeah. So we'll see what he's playing here. I went for Argonaut over Bubble Reef because I already had 2 hand traps, and I figure the extra disruption is probably valuable if it's not playing a hand trap deck. Locals isn't always the most competitive scene, so there's a good chance that you could be playing a board breaker type deck still. And I want to be prepared for that. So yeah, there's the imperm. So you probably drew that for turn, at least I expect. There's no way you would let us go through. And if I use the Toad on this, I can steal the imperm, which is nice. Although I lose the ability to negate monsters. So I use Argonaut instead. Although Argonaut's nicer if he has talents, because he doesn't do this in the main phase. Because if he has talents and I Toad it, then I'm forced to... or you can use another talents. And I'm also stealing a card that's probably worse for my deck. It also... it would be nice to try force him to summon a monster first before doing anything, because then if he has talents, I can use Wave to make my guys unaffected. And it's just more options. Here, Pearl Rhino, I see tier. It's not a great matchup for me. Now, usually you want to Ash the Sharon, but I figure Sharon's the one probably doesn't have it, and I'd rather stop him from getting the Sharon in hand, because if he mills a Rhino Heart or gets that engraved at any point, being able to ditch the Sharon to revive the Rhino can be a pretty good resource, and I want to just cut him off entirely. So he concedes after the Ash here, and I'm pretty sure I'm playing versus tier, so that means I want to put in those Crows and Bestials I talked about. I had to talk about having some preparation for that. And then also take out some of the cards that feel like are weaker in the matchup. So I feel like Droll, for example, while it can be pretty good against tier, it's not phenomenal. So I do take it out, which ultimately ends up being a mistake. He gets my ass pretty well. And then I put in, those Bestials. I take out cards. I'm still not used to what non-engine I want to be siding out, or what engine I want to be siding out going second. When you are seeing 6, you can slim down on your engine because that 6th card should adjust for the drop consistency and should balance itself out. So I think what I started doing is taking a Mandarin in some matchups, or taking out one of the Piscalises, one of the Seahorses. Cards that, if they're extenders, require certain sets of circumstances. Like with Seahorse, if you're not already playing, like if they have removal, Seahorse sucks. And with Piscalis, you can't use it in multiples. I think in the next game I have to use 2 Piscalis, and then it serves to my detriment. I told you the idea of cutting mining because the mining, is a -1, but I probably should keep it in just because it is does let me search Spring Girl if I need actual extension through removal. But yeah, I'm not confident with my side deck plan yet. I never really put the time into it, and that's not something I recommend as well. Just kind of casual tournaments, so taking a bit easier. Yeah, my opponent's got a plan out his play now, and I'm feeling pretty comfortable. I do have some hand traps, but versus tier, I don't feel too safe. And he summons Visa Samsaras, and it's like makes me think for a second. Now I think there's a real chance it's Mannadium. There's no guarantee yet. Some tier decks do play this, but he gets the Reichphobia. I'm like, okay, that's right, and then he gets to use that, and we'll see what he does. He could make some synchros here. And he searches a second right card. I'm like, okay, if it's playing 2 right cards, there's a good chance this is not tier. But we'll still keep waiting because there's a chance it's Mannadium tier mixed together. And then with this line of play, with second light heart, search second field spell, I'm like, okay, this is not tier. This is Mannadium. And he used the Pearl Rhino to bait me, and he got me pretty good. And here he has a Baron access, but I think he elects to do something else instead. Now, I couldn't be here, but I also have Imperm, so I do want to hold it for as late as I can in the combo. Uses this. This will set up to let him develop his play a little further. But again, Zek doesn't have a great way of playing 3 Nibiru plus Imperm. It can do some stuff, but it's not great. And I also drew Veiler, right? So I'm actually fine if he leads into an Apo, and then he goes for Baron, and then whatever, because then I can do all 3 together in conjunction to really shut him out. So yeah, he's going to go Cross Sheep here, and then Ash Aloud. And I'm not too sure, honestly, where I should be stopping it. And I think I stop here or when he summons, he goes Arrival. Because like, what extenders can he have left? He's making Crimson Dragon here, and I'm not really sure where this goes. And like, there probably, if I have better matchup knowledge, there is like merit to holding even further here. But I figure if he goes Appa when passes, and I'm gonna have to burn the Veiler for free, I'd rather hold the Veiler Imperm. Now there is a decision to make whether I use Veiler or Imperm here to protect myself. So I use Imperm because I'm not sure if you can extend past this, then Veiler can be used to stop anything else. However, Imperm is good if he goes Astral out, pop the Nibiru, summon any extender, and then make SP, because then I can IP the SP on my turn, and that helps me play through his field, because the SP will force me to have an extender to push through it. And right now with 2 Pascalis in my hand, I cannot do that. I put the token in attack as well, play around the Reichphobia pop, and he passes over. But with 2 sets, I think I drew another hand trap for turn, I drew Imperm for turn, I had 2 Pascalis, I actually loosed any interrupts. I'm not feeling too confident yet. There's no area charmer in my deck, the water charmer, and that means that this Nibiru really can't be used for any link material besides once I got to 3 already. Once I have 3 link material, then I can turn it into as Atlantis, and that's pretty good to clear the Nib token. But yeah, so we get this far, I'm like, okay, nothing happened. And this lets me get the dives now. I will be able to play. I mean, if nothing happens, then I will be, a-okay here. I will have my combo. I will have some essence of plays. And he lets us go through. Dive locks me into waters now. So he waits till this point to do something because he doesn't want me to summon Typhon. And I'm looking through my trick to see what I could use with this Nibiru as a form of push. And it really just isn't something great, which kind of sucks. Here he DDGs me, and this actually turns off everything, right? Like, now I can't use Splash Mage, I can't use Coral Enemy. I really just don't have any good recourse here. And I don't have 3 link materials, so I can't make a link 4 to deal with this Nibiru. So this is actually like a huge issue right here for me. I don't really have a great way of dealing with it. Maybe there has to be area in this deck, but I feel like this comes up so infrequently where you are playing a deck that has waters in it. So yeah, I kind of think of here if I have any sort of play, and I end up deciding that I don't, so I just step back, row, and pass. And with he has like a 6,000 or 7,000 attack token on field, like this is not an ideal spot. Like, I'm dead to almost anything. He has an Astral Loud set up in grave as well, so it's gonna be rough. I probably should have put Pascalis in attack mode to avoid the Reichphobia from popping a card. And I know he has another Reichphobia in hand as well, so I know that's gonna be even more interruption that I have to use. Now I have a way to check Astral Loud, I have a way to check the Reichphobia, so I should be able to live if he has no other extenders, but I'm not confident about this. I put the Imperm in the reframing column, that way, or what I assume is reframing because he searched it and set a card. So now that if he makes a synchro, it should be the Veiler should be live, although obviously if the reframing is turned back on later, it'll still be a huge problem for me. This game is dire, though not over yet. But yeah, Astral out here, clear my field, attack, put me low, and then SP is a huge problem. And the problem with SP as well is if SP banishes the dive in my grave, I only play 1. It means I won't have access to that as well. And then the Pascalis won't be able to add anything back, which is a huge problem. It means that even if I have another Merciless monster, it's not going to be a 1-card play by itself. It's going to require some sort of extender. And if the SP is also there, that'll require me to have another extender. So it's really going to be hard for me to play through this. It's going to need me to top deck or have a combination like Spring Girl plus Blue Tang, but I think it's pretty safe to assume I have neither. I would use them last turn. I had a Pascalis in my hand. A Pascalis cannot summon Pascalis, which is a issue here. Small missequence from him. He should have attacked the Sea Angel first. To deal 100 more damage because of the Reichphobia buff. But yeah, the SP got to banish, and he removes Pascalis here. I probably would go over to the dive. But yeah, I'm going to struggle here to deal with this. And how do I deal with SP? And then there's another set. I'm like, okay, what is this? It's call by. It's going to be rough. It's an Imperm. It's going to be rough. And the DDG is rough. So yeah, I'm going to think here if I have any sort of play without the ability to get back the dive as well until I go into an enemy, which already requires me to be playing a bit. Do I have any play? I think, and I'm like, nah, I'm good. But I'm feeling pretty confident still because now I get to go first. I get to decide my removal traps that are good versus Mannadium. It's also not tier, which was a rougher matchup. And they can also now side appropriately, right? Because I sided for tier the first time. There's Bestials in my deck. And though I didn't draw them, now I feel better. I can put the Drolls back in, and those Drolls can put a lot of work. And those Bells as well that I would have had before, also I can just throw to the side. Those would have not been good versus Mannadium. So, feeling good here. And now I'm just going to take a minute to, again, think about my side choices. I want to max out my engine. All the engine goes back in because if I One of the worst ways to lose is obviously just a nice fat old brick. Gotta make sure I can at least play. So I'm going to be deciding which engine and non-engine, or sorry, which non-engine is not quality enough to play. So primarily, I think it's like Veiler effects, Mourner effects, you know, like are okay, but they're not terrible. I think I go down to one Mourner because the card is just but if I do draw it, it cannot be in multiples. It would just be absolutely devastating. So I go down to one. I set out the Bistrels, and I think that's kind of where I line up. And then I take out the Bells. And then so I take out the one Mourner, 3 Bells. And then I have one of the cards to take out for the 5 counter traps that I put in going first. I don't recall exactly what it was. You know, should be in an okay spot for me. And then he's going to take a second. You know, a lot of people will take a bit longer siding against you when you're playing a rogue deck because they don't have this sort of preset plan that they would when you're playing fire. You know, the same way they have to read all your cards, right? They still have to think on the fly in terms of what they do. And that could be to your advantage as well, right? Because if they don't know what to side or they're making mistakes, then that can definitely be costly for them. Right? If you side in the wrong card, it'll mess you up. Yes, I think if you get to side here, it's like, on the side, you want to cut. And look at my hand, I draw Torrential. I'm feeling, okay, that's pretty good. So even if I get a beard, it'll be okay. Start off with Seahorse as well, which means I do have plays. I'll get into my engine. So leave a blue slug here, and that's the standard combo. No imperm, fantastic. Now I can get my flow resources going pretty effectively. And I get dive here, I'm pretty sure. Because I'm pretty sure I need this to complete the full combo, right? Because next I can go into an enemy, and then triangle, and then into either Argonaut or Bubble Reef. So make an enemy here. And this is summon number 5 now. So I can get into Beirut, but if I get into Beirut, I will get the follow for next turn, right? So if I get into Beirut here, I will have the dive plus Seahorse in hand for next turn. So I'm feeling pretty okay about this. Like, I'm not like that mad. So yeah, no triangle for next turn, but that's okay. And then because while the Beirut sucks here, it's like worst case scenario, I still have my Torrential, so I feel fine. And this is where things are a little rough. Yeah, I end up getting Feather Dusted. I'll see in a second here. So now I'm like, oh shit, now I only have negation versus the deck when negation is not that good. He already has Nibiru up. So I have Ash Mourner here. I drew my 1 of Mourner, which, alright, whatever, not great, but it's still playable. And on this here, I'm thinking he summons Riem Heart. And if I Ash this, then if he has Visa Starfrost, he can make any link to... I'm going to pause this here. He can make any link to that he can Starfrost away. Starfrost, summon, and then summon Lightheart to go to the Scarecrow phase, which point I'd have to Mourner, otherwise I'm going to get boned. So both hand traps would be gone. And then I would... you can summon Astraloud from there, clear my field, attack, make SP, and I'd be in a kind of rough spot. I don't have a great way to play around SP right now, unfortunately. Because I don't have that much extension in my hand, right? I have Seahorse Dive. And if I go like normal Seahorse, make Blue Slug, target back Seahorse, and he banishes the Blue Slug, there's no target for Dive anymore, and there's no special, I can't summon the Seahorse anymore, so a bit awkward here. I don't want him to get to SP. SP is kind of rough for me. So I figure like, okay, my way to win this game then is probably going to be to prevent the what's it called? Starfrost from getting into play. I need to prevent Starfrost from happening. And so I'm like, okay, I want to hold Ash then for a field spell to prevent it from searching Starfrost, especially because Starfrost is typically not played at 3 in these Visas deck, on the Mannadium decks. But sometimes they can be. He's already used a normal summon, so I doubt it's going to be some Samsara in his hand. And then if he does have the Starfrost, I'm already in kind of a shitty spot. So rather what it does, if he adds like the Mannadium spell that searches the field spell, then he has to pop a card, and then I can Ash that. And then that feels pretty good for me, because at that point, he can't make SP, and I'm comfortable. If he goes for Meek or whatever, and then makes level 6 Synchro, it is a bit worse, but I can Mourner there. And then I still have the Ash in my hand to stop a field spell searching Starfrost when he goes Trisukta or Armataris. So I decide not to Ash here, because I think that I'm probably in too rough of a spot either way if he gets Starfrost. Already has to Starfrost. He adds the Meek here, so I'm like, okay, if he makes a Synchro, then I'll Mourner the Synchro there, the Trisukta. And he specials it, and Starfrost. So this is a death sentence now. I lose way worse here than if I had Ashed before. If I Ash here, he still makes Baron, still makes Ash Loud, and I die. So I'm just dead, unfortunately, because this does represent a Baron plus Ash Loud with or without the Meek, and I can't deal with that. That is just lethal. And the Mourner's not going to be enough to stop it. So my main goal here now is, okay, I want to Mourner the Baron, and I'm gonna try get him to not summon Ash Loud, because maybe he'll try summon or hold the Ash Loud summon as a way to have a backup in case he gets in the beard. So I Mourner here to like, bluff the Nib, and then hope he just passes, and I can play through just the Baron. So I'm like, okay, maybe he'll go pop here, or you go battle phase here, attack pass, and hopes to try and go through Nib. He thinks second, then just pushes, and I have no way to stop this, so I will just die here. Yeah, no Nibiru in sight. And yeah, I got nothing left. So this is game. And that is round one. I got nothing else there, right? If I Ash the Rim Heart, then Mourner the Light Heart, maybe I can stay alive and I can top deck any sort of engine or an Imperm, and I will be able to play through the SP. Or maybe there was a play I was missing and just the SP was manageable. I chose to play around him not having the Starfrost in hand, then it got punished there pretty drastically. So yeah, I mean, the Nib Duster was also pretty rough, but that's the way it goes. Starting 0-1 though, not the way I wanted to show you guys the deck. Let's see if I can pull out the rest. Alright, so we're getting into round 2 now. Not the best start 0-1, but I promise you guys this deck is fine. Obviously, you will lose. It's impossible not to. It's important to not get too upset if you down yourself, right? Try think of things you could have done differently, which, you know, we did reflect upon, and you can use that for the future. But otherwise, also think about, you do want to count something to variance, right? Sometimes it does happen, right? Nib Duster was unfortunate for us. And that's okay. So we will keep going, and we will try our best now. So I win the roll again. I'm feeling pretty good about that. We draw our hand. I see a Mining and a Desire, so like, it's pretty comfortable. Like if I get Ashed, I'm going to be okay. And I remember thinking I want to hold Mining in case I get like nibbed or hand trapped. So I try play without the Mining here, and I make a worse board in light of it. And I think also I had nothing good I want to discard, right? And I wanted Desires first. To find a card to discard, I'd rather hold that. And so yeah, because I think I have a bunch of hand traps. So I want to see if I can just play here. If I can make a small field plus hand traps, I'll be fantastic. So here I just try to go for the one card play. I'm gonna get Blue Slug. Yeah, and get everything going here. And it's gonna make Bubble Reef. Bubble Reef plus the Wave in hand. At least that's my plan. Yeah, I decided not to mill here because again, milling Wave would be detrimental, and it's not worth the 200 or 400 damage you can get off the burn for Spring Girl. And then yeah, so I'm feeling pretty good at this point. You know, I have the Mining in case I get Nibiru. The Triangle will also be follow up against getting Nibiru. The Bubble Reef out, and the Bubble Reef can either draw me more hand traps or more extenders, so it's pretty good. And the Desires will do the same. Got the Wave out of my deck as well. So Battle Ocean here would be kind of shit to get rid of, but it's okay. And I pass here. So I'm feeling pretty good, and I got a bunch of hand traps, and I'm going to have a huge hand here. Alright, this was a one-card combo that ended with stuff in hand. So I'm drawing to 7? Like, that's a lot. Imperms, alright, so I'm not going to get the attack gain. Another Imperm for turn, so I don't get the draw either. But it's okay, I should be able to still make it unaffected with the rest of his effects later. Martha is a nasty draw, obviously. I see it's Exosister, and I'm like, Exosister might be a bit of a rough matchup. I don't know, actually know, because all your effects are graveyard effects, and they could punish you pretty bad. And there's the town, so he looks in my hand. And again, there's no monster up, so I can't chain Wave to make me unaffected. That's a big problem, yeah. So now the Wave is gone. Sees my hand, and he can play around the Bell and the Nibiru pretty easily. And he knows there's the Droll as well, so he'll play around Droll. So I'm like, okay, well, I still have the Mining at least. This is rough now, because he gets to clear my field, and also he will have that Vadis now for my Triangle. But I still think like maybe I can push through it. The Triangle is like pretty high advantage. And yeah, he's going to banish the thing here. Now, I wanted to check to see if this was one of the non-targeting banishes, because I know it can banish from Grave. And if that were the case, then I could have belted it, but unfortunately I cannot, because it is targeting the guy on field. It is never banishing one in Grave. And I didn't draw because I felt like I could discard it from Mining. The other cards might be useful to have, even if for a call buy or whatever. And unfortunately, he has prosperity as well. So maybe I should have drolled, and that was a mistake. The Ash is going to be annoying now. Now that does check my sign at mining. So I use the triangle here. I'll force out the Vadis bodies, and I'm going to play in the Vadis either way. I kind of have to start her now. If I drawn an Ash, it would have been nice, but obviously, what are you going to do? And then now I can at least see what interrupts I'm playing, right? Force it to be public. And then he gets the double rank up. Unfortunately, no way around that. If he does have a way to summon one more time in my turn, I will be able to Nibiru, which is kind of cool. But yeah. So he makes a Sophiel here with Michaela. So he has the banish up. And then what a Sophiel is going to let him do is block me from summoning from the grave. So now I can't use Dive, I can't use an enemy, can't use Splash Mage. But it doesn't completely cut me off because I can still find extenders via adding back Seahorse or whatever, special via Seahorse. So I don't think I have a Seahorse in grave. I can summon with Spring Girl. And I can add back using Marbled Rock, an enemy, and Blue Tang. So I still have plays. Although it will be harder to get my bodies on field. And I want to see if I can also get through his last backer. I'm not sure what it is. I lead with mining first there despite drawing another monster. And yes, it's because I could have summoned with the Pescalis, but also you'd rather use your public knowledge first, and he knows I have it. And that way, it's harder to predict what to do. And yeah, so let's see now if you can get him to use the last back row. If it's Returnia, he'll also be able to overlay from Magnifica. That's going to be kind of a problem, but I mean, nothing really I can do about it. I have to push through it. I get Battle Ocean here. No, it doesn't do too much, but again, like, some people over-fixate on field spells, thinking they're super pivotal to the game plan. So maybe I can use this to eat through an interrupt, especially if opponents are less knowledge to what I'm doing here. And I'm trying to think here, I don't really have a great way to push through or get more cards in play, right? If I can get back my Spring Girl engraved, then that's one more extender. So he banishes here, and I'm like, fantastic. He should have definitely waited, but now I can get my... if I get to my Spring Girl should be an extender. I already have the Spring Girl in hand, right? I still had it, I think. Or did I banish it? Or did I banish it for Bubble Reef? Might have banished it, in which case that would have been a mistake. Marbled Rock of Excalis. I'm just getting back a bunch of free cards here. So I think I don't have the Spring Girl, actually. I think that was probably an error. I'm trying to think, what back row could I play through? And I'm pretty sure I just can't play through anything. So I decided to go for Zelantis. And then I realized, though, actually I realized at this point, I never used the effect that locks me into water. So if I Zelantis, he actually doesn't, like, lose all his stuff. He loses his materials, but, like, the monsters come back. So I still do it because it means that Michaelis or whatever won't turn into follow-up. And then I can attack one of them still. But obviously, maybe I should have gone, like, not Sea Angel. I should have gone Blue Slug to deal with this. And that way I can Zelantis banish. But now he can, like, flip those both up, make Magnifica, and that's just rough because I already took the damage, right? I'm just dead on field. Maybe if he gets by Nibiru and I resolve that, but yeah, I'm just double checking here that I cannot bell it, and then I'll see that I can't bell it, and I'll just be dead. So yeah, I kind of played there for nothing. I'm gonna go back here actually curiously. What did I start with this game? So this game I started with Spring Girl, right? So what happened to my Spring Girl? What did I do with it? Spring Girl's there. Yeah, I banished the Sea Angel. Oh, I banished Sea Angel for my Spring Girl as an extender. So I Bubble Reef probably have to banish the Spring Girl. Okay. So I don't get to add it back later. Because if I had that extra extender, I could have killed one more monster, right? I could have done more. I could have gone for Blue Tang. And then Blue Tang would have guaranteed I Zelantis clear. And then his top deck or his set would have had to been a card that locks me out of the game. Okay, so if there was a way to do that, what would I have to have done? Just not drawn off Bubble Reef here? I mean, I'm never doing that, right? If I banish the Blue Tang or the Blue Slug from my grave instead, then I can't use Coral on enemy. Was there a way to fill the grave with one more Link monster? Could I have made Splash Mage at some point? If I had made Splash Mage instead of an enemy, and then made an enemy, and then done the exact same play, I would have opened myself up to Nibiru, which I don't think would have been the worst because I had the mining. That's something to think about. if you want to focus on the follow-up more, because here I end up banishing the Springle, which I don't like. Interesting play to think about. Where if I had gone that Splash Mage, because then the Bubble Reef could have banished the Splash Mage. And I would have been more well set up, right? I would have had the next turn I actually could have won the game. And now this is, you know, with the assumption that his back row was dead, which I don't think I know his back row. I don't think it ever got revealed. But if it were dead, then I will put him top decking, and I would have actually been in a good position. So that's interesting, right? That is very interesting. And I think I could have done it in a way as well, where I banish everything, and then I also co-link the Sea Angel to the Zelantis, so he also can't enter battle phase without his stuff getting blown up. So forces him to even if he top decks the Martha, to be in a lot weirder of a spot. I still have the Nib, and I'd have follow-up reset up again, because I'd still be adding back. Yeah. Interesting. I also maybe could have done a rank 4 play, because I had the Piscalis plus Spring Girl. I could have, yeah, that game would have gone differently. Alright, that's good to know, right? And it's good to reflect upon these, because that's how you learn and get better, right? Definitely could have won game 1 there. Anyways, let's press forward. We already got through this. Yes. Okay. So now we are siding for game 2. I'm siding out a lot of the cards, don't do anything. Draw can be met versus this deck. Sometimes, though, it can be okay if he plays the Spirit cards that can hit it, which he probably does play Spirit cards. But I side them out when I'm going first, because I feel like my weakest point is when I get Shifted, and I don't want to have to card that to Shifter. Bell, obviously not that good either. Mourner's okay. The issue with Mourner is if he summons Michaelis and I Mourner it, then he can just chain banish still. Jaw Phase Shift is me, which isn't great, but I think I drew one of my traps, so okay. It's like the same as getting turn skipped by Nibiru. I just have to live this turn still. It's the same type of thing. He overlays here for Michaelis. I let the summon resolve, let him use the effects, and I strike. And this is fantastic. I also have Nibiru, which is, you know, going to help me a lot, but he's down. I'm down 1,500, but like he's already using Michaelis Search, so even if he gets to Michaelis, he can't use it again. He's also like just used Martha, and it's going to be so hard for him to send. So he has Aratama, which is his best extender, but the thing is, he can't even make a search for Michaelis here. So while I have Nibiru, I'll let him, and I still will Nibiru him because it's just worth it for me to do that, because it also turns off like Vadis and not Vadis, Returnia. I think Nibiru is still worth it. He only would have got a search of Caspatel, and even if he had I didn't have the Nibiru, I think I would have still been pretty comfortable. He sets one and passes here, and I'm no longer in a Shifter, and I can play, and that I can do. I have Blue Tang, and that should be enough by itself to really do a lot. And do I not send off here? Why don't I send? It's actually something that's interesting. Why didn't I send? I think I might have been trying to play around to Vadis, by not wanting to put something in the grave. And then I decide that I'd probably play into Vadis anyways. That is an absolute misstep on my behalf. I think I thought I didn't want to send to not play into Vadis, and then I'd sort of send something later as I decided what I needed, and then ended up like not doing anything anyways. So that's a mistake of mine for sure. That's lack of foresight. But no, then I check for Vadis. There's no Vadis. He would have used Vadis there, so I'm feeling pretty comfortable. You know, I have the Seahorse, so I don't actually lose. If anything. So I grab the dive here. I feel like I want the extender more than anything else. Nibiru token's not very big, so I can just attack over pretty easily. My biggest thing here is I don't want to get out-resourced. That's like, I feel like the only way I'm going to lose this game. Because like even game 1, right, if I just managed my resources better, I could have won. That's going to be a big thing here. This is going to get me to my trap. And I can't chain it here, even though like he doesn't have a monster, because I can't target the vanilla. So I have to be somewhat wary of a Nibiru. Although what is nice is there's probably no Nibiru in this deck. A lot of Princess decks don't play it, because it does have a huge weakness in the way that it means they can't use Martha or a lot of their spells. Yeah, and the end of battle phase evenly is me, and like whatever, the card sucks against my deck, so it's fine. Banish Nibiru. If anything, that's just good for me. He's down a card. Standby phase gets the draw again. I have all my follow-up set up, so I'm feeling pretty comfortable. He needed a pretty good hand to beat me here. I draw the one of draw that I had left in my deck after siding. Which actually isn't bad here, because in this position, you know, if I draw, then he can't search off Michaelis or whatever. I still have all my hand traps. I have a wave as well, so I just got to make my guy immune. As soon as I get immune, I'm fine. Now there's reason to let not use the draw there, because Talons can hurt me, and we know he plays Talons. Talons, Steel, Bubble Reef would suck. But another wave will beat the Michaelis here, and you'll have no way to deal with it. Although he makes the mistake of using the Michaelis in the main phase, so I just get to Veiler it. I'm like, okay, save the wave. Like, why not? That card is broken, so if I can save it, I will. I'll go to game 3. Now, I'm going second. I'm a little bit concerned because obviously going second versus Exo, right? He'll set up the Vadis, and Vadis alone is just rough for me. If there's no Vadis, I'm actually fine, but Vadis is just so brutal. But there are a bunch of hand traps in my decks. I'm trying to think of what hand traps can be very good. I think I go for Ogre as like a method to maybe stop Magnifica to punish that, but I mean, it's not great. I'm just hiding out some of the cards that I don't think are that good. Yeah, I kind of want to stop Vadis from coming down, and then I also have to make sure that I can play. So that's what's going through my head as I'm deciding. I think I decided to keep the Torrentials in because while we can get to a bit of a grind, he's not going to have a negate-centric field. If he starts blowing his load to try to kill me the next turn, then the Torrential could keep me in the game, and because my deck's ability to have follow-up, then that could be an actual win condition as well. So keep the Torrentials in. I put the Droll in as well because, again, if I can stop the Vadis, like if he goes Cast, Patel, Search, Martha, or Ara Thomas start, then the Droll could keep him off of the Vadis. So yeah, I'm like, okay, this could be pretty good. I'm just realizing I think I said that he summoned to Sophiel game 1 when he summoned Caspatel. It starts off with Marfa the third time, I think, or second time, other time with Pax. Very good start here. No Ash this time, so it's going to resolve. And the normal summons Sophia, I think, after this, which is rough, because that's like exactly what you don't want to see. That's a draw. But it does mean there's no prosperity at the very least, so I know that's not going to be searching for the floodgate. And there's no Droll in my end, so I can't punish him there. And he summons Michaelis, right? So I'm just going to veil this because I don't think it Vadis. But I think now, like, if he has any extender, he still makes Magnifica, still with Caspatel. And that is pretty rough. He sets 2, there's nothing. There's no Ellis, there's no Sakitama. That's great. And I have the Desires here, because now I still have to play through Disruption, right? This Martha is still annoying. Although he put it in defense, so I can attack over it with almost anything. And I think what does he do with this? He decides to Judgment, I think, right? I don't remember what happens here. I wanted to draw Lightning Storm. I did put those in my deck because I wanted to force Vadises and stuff and then be able to attack over the small dudes with like have a Pescalis play. Yeah, so he Judgments, make okay, no Storm, whatever. But I need to prioritize playing through. Like I need to play through the stuff like Returnia, Imperm, what I have in mind as back rows. Could be another Judgment. If another Judgment, I just lose. There's nothing you can do about that. So I would ignore second Judgment here. He lets the effect go through, I'm pretty sure, which is important. Yeah, let's get the Blue-Tang out. And I do dump here now. Obviously, even though I'm going to wait to kill the Martha before I do anything, I'm going to do the proper play now and actually like put this in the grave. I put Seahorse here because I figure I can add it back with Blue Slug later, and that'll be an extender. I think I sided out the Mandarin, but this is still like fine. Maybe should have been Spring Girl, so it's level 4 extender, but I don't like banishing things that get weaker into the Exo plays. And I want to go Threaten Battle Phase here. I have 2 ways to attack the Martha. So when I enter the battle phase, he crows turn on the Martha, which is kind of a shame. So now he gets to either get the Banish or the Caspatel to turn off my graveyard. And I'm kind of just waiting to see, and I'll adjust my play whatever he does, right? So I gotta just be patient for now, though. He summons Caspatel, so yeah, I have to clear his field, stop his follow-up. Super important here, and now I can't summon from the grave. So Dive is going to be dead unless I got Battle Ocean, so yeah, and then I'm not going to be able to use Splash Mage or an enemy. So I'm thinking through my plays here. Now one option I could do is just straight up make Stealth Kraken, and that could kill both monsters, one his turn, one my turn. However, it's only during the main phase, I'm pretty sure, and at which point he'd be able to search with player priority first, and that's not ideal. So I don't want to do Kraken. Bahamut is another good one I could do. Bahamut would force any Imperm, if not, then it would generate 2 bodies, so it's equal number of bodies, but the Toad would add back. Or if I don't need to use the Toad as a link material, the Toad would just be a negate for the back row. I'm kind of just thinking here what is necessary. Although I end up having a weird hand, yeah, Battle Ocean and Dive, so I'm not going to search them. I could just use this straight up. So now I get access to my Spring Girl. Actually, I think why I didn't send the Spring Girl with the Seahorse was because I knew that I banished 2 Spring Girls and I wanted to save a Spring Girl in my deck for this Dive. So now I have 3 bodies. I'm thinking, what's the best way to use these? Now I can build upon these bodies by also making the Seahorse or Blue Tang to add back the not the Blue Tang, Blue Slug. Oh my god, the names are so similar. Blue Slug back the Spring Girl. And I choose to mill because if I mill something like a Dive or whatever, I can add it back with an enemy, and that could be pretty good. And I think he's thinking here for second. Like, and this kind of gives away it's probably an imperm face down, and he just uses the imperm. So he stops from getting back the monster. Honestly, it's not the best value. Imperm. Pascalis, which isn't terrible. Let's follow for next turn if need be. Or I can just banish one from my grave and not feel bad about it. So these are pretty much the monsters I have in my disposal, right? I have to think of what the best option is. I'm not going to have any fantastic plays. I also want to see if I can do something while linking off Blue Tang to try to hit a wave as a search or to have disruption. So I'm trying to remember what I did. I go Toad. Why did I do this? I'm trying to remember how this went next, because it's a bit weird. I could have attacked with this first, but only clear one monster that way. Where did I go? I don't remember. Oh, right, because the Toad gives me an extra body, because this way I get to add back the Spring Girl as an extender. Okay, I think that's why I did this, because that way I still get to the Spring Girl. And I'm making an enemy because that'll add back as well. Although this I could have also done this with what's it called? If I linking away an enemy here, like if I linked away from Marbled Rock, I also could have added it back with Marbled Rock. But that would have been able to make a done the same thing with while also still triggering the Blue Tang. So maybe that was a bit of a mistake here. I could have triggered the Blue Tang, but I got to add back 2 now here instead. Get the Pascalis back. And then I'm going Bubble Reef here. Okay, so what I'm doing here is I'm triggering. Oh, this is what I'm doing. I'm triggering the Blue Tang by banishing it, and then I can link it away later. So I go Atlantis, I clear the field, and all his monsters are gone forever because I locked myself with Blue Tang, Blue Slug, sorry. And now I'm linking this off. And why didn't I co-link this here? Oh no, I didn't co-link it because I wanted the Battle Ocean attached. I think the bigger monster would be better. And then here I mill Wave. Okay, so that's really good. That's going to mean I have some disruption. However, if I had gone Coral and Enemy instead, instead of Bahamut Toad, I mean, it would have been the same thing. And Coral and Enemy, add back, and then I discard the Pascalis for trying. So hold on. So an enemy would add back 1, and Toad would add back 1. And so I'd add back Spring Girl, and then Toad would add back. What did I add back with Toad here? Did I not add back anything? Hold on, let me go back. So Toad here. And this is my entire hand, right? This is everything I have. And I make an enemy, right? Yeah, so this we're repeating things. I can chain block here, I don't think I do, which is silly, but whatever. And I add back Spring Girl. Yeah, I add back Spring Girl. So what did I do next? I made Marbled Rock. And I special summoned back that. Then I add back Dive. Is that what happens? Oh, I just didn't add back with Marbled Rock. Okay, that's just... Alright, now we see my mistake. Because if that was a Coral Triangle... No, Coral Triangle I wouldn't have been able to use, right? Because... Hold on, am I missing something? Maybe I skipped something. Oh, I did add back. I add back the Spring Girl again. That's what I do. I did use Marbled Rock. But if I just... and Coral Triangle instead, and I discard one of these to get Wave, I won't have a card for Bubble Reef. That's why I want to discard a card for Bubble Reef, because then even if I have the Wave, I won't be able to use it. Is the problem? Unless I had a way to make the to make these links, so like the Bahamut was there, the Toad was still there. If I went, no, I think this is maybe what I have to do, because if there was a way for me to get the Bubble Reef not in the EMZ and then a Mentis monster in the EMZ with the attachment from the field spell, and then it'd be big enough to attack over both and wouldn't have to Atlantis. Because pretty much that's what I have to do, right? I have to clear the field and then end on a wave. So the way I do it, I had to get lucky with the with my Blue Tang here to hit the wave, which isn't advisable. And I think I do hit the wave here. I mean, it's not, no guarantee even has follow-up, right? But that's still like the ideal on board here is me clears field, end on disruption, and follow-up, right? And I can guarantee clears field, guarantee end on follow-up, but I can't guarantee end on disruption. So this way, I have to get lucky, and I don't know if I even need the wave. May just pass back. It just passes. Okay, so the wave doesn't matter, but still, like, we should be looking for our optimal lines. Okay, cool. And here it's just game, right? Like, I have to go through the motions. I do the fun plays. Atlantis reset. That way, he sends the Kotton enemy to grave. It falls off. I add back, and he just concedes. The Anna spell is funny, but like it's just nothing. So yeah, that's round 2, 1-1. Bit of a harder match than I expected. I was a bit scared after losing game 1, but I feel pretty good about this so far. Yeah, let's close it out. All right, ready for round 3. I don't think I told you guys. We got 4 rounds of Swiss today, and it's standings based. So there's not going to be a top cut. You have to be X1 or XO to get prizing. So I mean, our goal here is to end in the money, right? If we're not ending on prizes, then it's a failure in my eyes. XO, obviously, out of the picture. We did lose round 1. That's okay. Maybe we could have done something differently. But yeah, we'll shuffle up in preparation for round 3 here. We got to win this round and then the next rounds to be happy with ourselves. Out of locals, usually you can look around and see what your opponent's playing. I don't think I actually knew what my opponent was playing any of the rounds, which is surprising. Maybe I shouldn't put the effort into to do some scouting. I can't remember. Oh, I played. This was a funny match. So part of the reason we were playing Marincess for Worlds last year was we wanted something that had a good matchup with Despia and Dragon Link. And you know, my Marincess mentor Herman, as I said earlier, kind of said that that's what this deck is a good matchup against, so those 2 decks. So when I play against Dragons, I'm like, oh, this is a good matchup. Now obviously at the World Championship, well, that's World Championship, I wasn't super like, I felt so good with Tier and like kind of iffy in Marincess, so I decided not to play it against Dragon. On the versus Despia, I would have. And yeah, so I decided to. So yeah, this deck should be good against Dragons. I'm feeling pretty good. Obviously, losing the roll is not great here, and I keep him off of playing with a double hand trap. And yeah, so usually you can also Mourner the Ravine, but he already has access to the Rocket card, so I wanted to just hit him early. Unfortunately, here I don't have any way to play besides the mining, and with this getting Ash here, I'm forced to pass back. And the looming threat of the Magnum is just gonna like ruin me. Yeah, he discards Rebellion again. And I pretty much can't let him get 2 dragons in the field. So I think I have to Ash this. If I remember correctly. I think I'm debating here, like, if this is a winning line. I'm like, okay. With what I know, I can Ash this. And if he Striker, add back Tracer, remake Striker, get boot, that does nothing. If he has no extender. He has Mag, I just Bell again. Yep. And then if I top that playable card, maybe I win. He topped that. He normal summons the dragons like shit. Okay, well, the very least is a Hermetic Seal here, so that's going to be a bad news bears for me. He makes Hermetic Seal. This is a misplay. If he plays 2 Striker. Oh, wait. Oh, I'm so silly. Hold on. I'm operating under these. But that's not misplay. I was about to say make a 2nd Striker Dragon. And it's at 1 in TCG. I'm so used to playing Master Duel Dragon Link. Atopic Desires, and that is, that is absolutely the best card for me to draw here, but I still need to draw like Imperm plus a play or Escalis plus an extender. I'm pretty sure I just still draw only hand traps, and it's just not enough. Even if you draw an extender or 1 normal summon, you don't want to normal summon into this here because that what's it called? That Hermetic Seal will just turn into more disruption for him. Now that he gets to open the floodgates here, he can kind of just do whatever. Even if he just attacks passes, it's going to be so rough for me because the Rebellion comes back, it sets up Brand Regain, gives some more value. There's a white dragon, it's like, okay, well, that's just like super dead for me. He just has infinite extension. So far he's summoned twice. I think he's just like seeing how much he can summon to kill me because he already did 2600 damage. He thinks for a second, and then he's going to realize relatively quick what is required from OTK. Obviously, I can do nothing here. So obviously, the OTKs are plentiful, but he's doing the smart thing of how do I OTK without opening exposure to Nibiru. Yeah, and that's summon number 3, summon number 4, and I'm dead on field to this. Yeah, so I roll him here. Maybe he'll like mess up, but no. Yeah, I'm just dead. So despite it being a good matchup, quick loss game 1. Again, not great about that. This time I lost the die roll though, so I don't feel as bad about it. But that's okay. Aside of my going first trap cards again, and like I feel like my engine should be pretty good versus Dragon, so I'm not like too concerned. We'll just see if my training from the year prior pays off, right? Because this was one of the main decks I did put an effort to prepare for. And now what is nice here is I actually have Ghost Ogres in my side deck. They're meant for Voiceless Voice, but they are pretty good against Dragon, right? Turning off either of the field spells be rather huge power buffs. So I actually have a relatively good side deck here for Dragon Link, unexpectedly. And I brought up an issue here. I actually couldn't remember during the match what the hits were to Dragon Link in the TCG. I've been playing so much Dragon and Master Duel that's kind of consumed me. I know Chaos Ruler's obviously not legal, but like when you summoned White Dragon, I'm like, oh yeah, that card's not banned in TCG. So a bit out of the element for me and kind of on the fly. But yeah. So starting here, I dropped the Pescalis and I meant to summon it anyways. I cannot make the Toad here first. I have no extenders past that, so here I'm just going to do a more basic play. Make Blue Tang to add back. Then I mill 2 because now I can guarantee make an enemy, and then enemy guarantee would add back anything good. I mill Blue Tang, which is nice because now I can revive that and get to mill 3, and if I mill something nice, then fantastic. Yeah, so again, someone who doesn't know the Rinses card super well, so I have to explain. And then I'm going to try make again an enemy before playing the 5 summons to play around Nib. I get to resolve this, search. I get Dive here. Honestly, probably could have got Battle Ocean. Because I didn't need the extra extenders, so maybe that was a mistake. I'm trying to like play around Nib, but I don't know if I really could have played around Nib still. So I link off here. Now I can't search for the wave, which is whatever. But because I mill Blue Tang, I can dump the wave and add it back with an enemy. I think I actually just drew it though, so I don't do that. I think I just send an extender here and go for a Toad play maybe, because I do have Spring Girl in hand, right? I should at least, yeah. Plays into Nibiru a bit, but I will get the add back off an enemy. No, I don't. Interesting. What did I do? Marbled Rocky, I don't get to search. Get to add back 2 cards here. And then, yeah, I add back again. Probably should have got for Bahamut Toad, actually. This is interesting. I think in my head I was playing around Nibiru, but I don't know how well I was actually playing around Nibiru. I guess I still die. I guess I still can do Bahamut Toad, right? With the Reborn effect here. Or I can go, actually no, what I can do here is make Bubble Reef, and then Bubble Reef discard, revive, and make Bahamut Toad that way. And then I have the Bahamut sitting on the field. Like, it's not an effective use of resources because the Bahamut's still sitting there. I'm not sure if this is actually the best play. It'd be cool to think about what the correct best play was, but obviously it's still pretty good in terms of interrupts. I also could have, instead of sending Mandarin, I could have sent a Battle Ocean and then added that back, and then Argonaut. But I think Bubble Reef's pretty good versus Dragon here. Getting a high attack Bubble Reef, and then unaffected by Wave, guarantees it lives to another turn, is like really strong. Then even if he gets to like push through my interrupts, I'm like, fine. That's what I was going for here. I would have searched Wave with Blue Tang if I didn't already have it. Don't get me wrong, but already had it. So 5 in hand. I feel pretty comfortable with Wave. Like, I'm not going to be too aggressive with my disruption. I don't need to stop him from playing. I just need to stop myself from dying because I also have just insane follow-up. And the Dragon, like, disruption shouldn't be too effective against me. Only Heroic Seal's a problem, and if I have like multiple extenders, or just even the triangle, like, it's going to be more than enough to deal with them. And Borland isn't a problem for me. Wave deals with it. Zlantis deals with it, and then there's so many ways to get to Wave. Like, it's honestly not that bad. So remember here, this Bubble Reef will trigger every time a card is banished face up, so it's going to get relatively big. At this point, it's already at 38 or something, I think. Like, now Borland can't attack over it. I pretty much want to make sure that I'm not using the Toad at a spot where after I use the Toad, I get talents, and I can't use Wave. Because at that point, then he could steal my Bubble Reef, and that's like the only way I lose. I die that turn. That's like the biggest thing I want to have to be careful of. And that's partially why I let him summon monsters to the field. I don't need to stop him early. My loss condition here is a talent's ripping Bubble Reef, and he aggressively kills me. That's how I lose. So after I understand that, I'm going to chill. Now, I do want to stop Rebellion because this Branded Beast is kind of annoying. I don't have great ways to stop it. It forces through Toad, or it forces the Reef either way, because Toad can't stop the... what's it called? So I'm like, okay, this should be fine. And I also have Valor, I think, and Imperm, so I actually have a lot of effect negation, like a lot. So I use Imperm here, I think, on the Rebellion. Partially is to stop the Branded Beast if he plays it. I'm not sure if he does. He'd also be playing going second, but still no risk. I feel pretty comfortable. I want to take the risk. But also, if he uses the Tracer here to dodge, it locks him into Darks, and I can chain the Wave now to the Rebellion. So it's still, I wouldn't negate the Tracer. I'd force it to resolve, lock him in Dark, mean he can't summon Baron. Because that would like be annoying to deal with. And then I'd still be able to negate Rebellion and still make my guys immune. So that lets the Imperm go through. So I'm like, okay, that's fine. That's why I didn't wave there. I wanted to hold the wave to not get hit by the Tracer. I have to be careful of that because I need to make sure this resolves without a hinge. He gets the Ravine. I have Ghost Ogre in hand, so I don't care about this. If he discards a card, then perfect. And this also gives me a lot of information on his hand, so that whole time I can just be using that. And he summons Levian here. That's a card I didn't expect. So now this is annoying because I have to wave this. This will clear my field. And I can't toad it because I have to mandatory chaining 2 Bubble Reef to gain attack. Now if he Tracers, I will have to toad negate because I need the wave to resolve. But yeah, no resolves. Now I feel pretty safe. Now this Toad is immune, this Bahamut's immune, and my Bubble Reef is immune, most importantly, and it has big attack points. He is not going to be swinging over that anytime soon. Goddess could be annoying, although I don't know the chances of that happening and me dying, although possible. Again, I do want to see a Tracer lock come down because after that, I know it's a lot more predictable what he can do, and I'll be okay. Once he gets Borland up, though, it is like pretty easy to go Borland, battle phase, kill the Toad. So this Toad is going to start losing value. It's no longer going to be protecting anything. And pretty much the use of the Toad was forcing the wave through, so in a way it did do its job. But at this point, even though it's like... So that like me holding the Toad for this late isn't even a bad thing, even though it would do nothing here. I will use the Toad on the Pisty because it essentially trades with 2 bodies because it negates it and steals it. Or not steals it, but like sends it away. I never really would have had a good use for the Pisty or the Toad otherwise. Yeah, the main goal here was forcing through the wave. That's the way I lost, and I still have no regrets about using the Toad in this manner, even though it may seem like not high value. Again, I feel really comfortable, right? I have an Ogre in hand, I have an immune Bubble Reef, I have a huge hand for follow-up. Nothing he can do really is that scary. He summons Mag. Okay, that's fine. He can make Baron here, but then he can't go into Toad. So instead it's this Potter. I think he already used Tracer. Is it Dark Lock to this point? I think at one point he goes Quick Launch. And then change Tracer. I don't know if I missed that. I was talking about something else. I think he already used it because his last 2 cards in hand should be 2 cards in now. It should be Ravine plus Boot Sector. Yeah, so he can't really do anything here, right? So even if he dispotters, he can make the Borland, he can clear the Bahamut, like attack over it, and then pass. That's really the extent of what he can do. That's fine. And now, even though I used the wave, and the wave is super easy to get back, Marble Rock, an enemy, or Piscalis, all will get back this wave. So the Borland really isn't too much of a threat here. And I'm just making sure that he can target a monster that is unaffected and still be able to revive. I tell him he can't. He may still be able to target it, but I'm not gonna like. He misunderstood what was happening, so I'm gonna let him take it back. It's fine. End phase, he resolves Mag as the Jewess. This is a good interrupt here because now he can summon the Jewess and use Borland in his end phase still to revive the Tracer. And then if he has a target for the Tracer, then this Borland will, or then this Tracer can pop the Jewess for him to send a card. So he can draw phase, get rid of my Bubble Reef, which will be a decently sized threat here because it can revive something and it can draw a card in the standby. Yeah, in the draw phase, I think he will. I ask him, is it okay to go standby? Kind of like hinting what's happening, but like it's fine. Yeah, he just goes Tracer. So now I know every card he has, so it's not like I'm doing much. He summons Caliber. You can't really see. Sends Bubble Reef. That's okay. I think I would later in the turn I wanted a second Bubble Reef, and maybe there's merit to me putting it back with one of my cards and I just didn't, or playing 2 Bubble Reef because that card is just so good. And oh right, I didn't get to go Coral. That is one thing. I didn't get to go Coral because I got drolled, so I didn't have that Soul Charge Disc effect there. With Blue Tang, whatever. Get back my extenders, and I can keep playing. And I'm pretty sure I had dive or something. I had ways to play through this Potter popping. That's okay. So now I can finally go this and get the Battle Ocean. And he's negating to get the Battle Ocean. Okay, that's fine. He puts back Mandarin, which is weird. Great. Like I can use that again, I guess. But again, like I'm no shortage of stuff to do. Make an enemy, and if he Borlands this, then that's cool. If he doesn't, then whatever I link a wave for, I'll be able to back wave. And I can't remember if he does stop this or not. I revive random thing. I don't remember what for. Maybe just the mill. I think if I can, I back off Piscalis here as well. The wave and decide not to. And just make triangle. Now I'll have the Soul Charge for next turn, which is still nice, and I add back the wave. I get to mill a card. Nothing I'm afraid of milling here, so no problem doing it. If I mill Battle Ocean, I can add it back, so it's okay. And I think he might negate this for some reason here, the Borland, which is weird because now I get to hold the wave. I mean, it never would have mattered. I would have got it back anyways. And now it's like, oh, cool. Like I just don't have to do anything. I use my extender, no problem, and I can make Zelantis play. Yeah, and you guys know how this goes. Banish every card he has. And then I held the dive so that I could still extend afterwards. Keep his Goss out, and I get a special from hand again. And I just attack. I think this is the most damage. And then in main phase 2, I can Bahamut Toad. Oh, why didn't I Bahamut Toad? Oh, did I not have a Princess Link left? Interesting. Well, I knew I had Ogre. Wait, so Bahamut... Why didn't I go Bahamut Toad? Oh, no, I already used Bahamut Toad. I'm silly. Ignore me. That's why I didn't Bahamut Toad. I'm thinking to myself, why not Bahamut Toad when I knew his entire hand and I had Ogre for his hand? Anyways, I have the pop here, which also does the burn damage, which it's pretty good. I could have maybe made a Princess Link, or did I have none left? I might have not had any left. That's where maybe like I go Splash Mage into Bubble Reef. That would have been a good play. Like a second Bubble Reef. Because then I have the wave again and I draw again. That would have been nice. Although Crag in there is fine. I just meant the wave didn't do anything. Okay, interesting there. Now we get to go second. It's added all those traps. I didn't draw them, but it was fine. So, but I have a lot of hand traps to put in. Again, I don't want to put too many Mourners in because they're like just okay in the matchup. They're not fantastic. Drawing multiples of that is like the worst way to go. I think Bell might have been similar. I may have took out Bell together. Droll's really good, so those are maxed out. Nib's maxed out. Imperm's maxed out. Like hitting Romulus can be pretty good because sometimes you just lock them out of any access to their rocket monsters and their end fields just become pretty weak. And Bestials are pretty good for the same reason as well, just banishing rocket monsters. I do have plenty of cards in here, and I feel fine. My hand, and I think it's alright. I got a bunch of hand traps. But I think I get blessed a little bit here, and the luck of my opponent's drawing really against me starts to stop because my opponent just passes. Like, oh, great. I think I drew Wave as well again, so I was kind of like worried it was a dead card in my hand. But I have a Piscalis. I think I had 2 hand traps. I think I had Imperm Veiler in that hand, so it wasn't like fantastic in terms of disruption. But with him passing, obviously now I get to play, and I have disruption, and I already have Wave, so now it feels like solidly good. And I think here's thinking how to use disruption. So my biggest thing here is I don't want to lose all my resources to Nibiru. If I lose to Nibiru, then that's the one way I lose the game. And I think at this point we also have to worry about time a bit. So I try to think of the most damage I can do before being weak to Nibiru. That way, if he can't I think we have like 12 minutes left. That way, if he starts comboing next turn, he can't just take a long time and then I never see a turn again, right? And enter battle phase first. Because the thing is, I'm going to make a play to the point where I can have a wave set up. So if he wants to force through the wave, he has to attack me first. And if he does that, then, he can't just take a long time. So he Veilers here, like whatever, summon Seahorse. So now I can't extend to the point where I get a Link 4. I can make Marble Drop, or I can make Coral Triangle. Both would be serving as follow-up. So I decided to make Coral Triangle, even though it's weaker, because I think it's better follow-up, and I think he still really can deal 2,700 damage over the Coral Triangle without playing into the Nibiru I drew for turn. So I'm like, okay, that's pretty good. So now I think I drew Nibiru for turn, so I had like Nibiru plus Wave plus like Veiler, Imperm. I didn't have Imperm, must have been something else. Maybe it was Ash. No Imperm. But yeah, I'm feeling comfortable here. And if he goes like Battle Phase attack over first, then I'll have the Triangle for follow-up next turn, which is better than the Marble Drop add back. Yeah, he links here. Neat. Striker Dragon. Okay, so Black Dragon was actually pretty good. And like, that doesn't signal that he drew a playable card for turn. That's definitely a card he could have had last turn that was just dead. So I can't draw any reads from that. So I still have no information on what his newest card was. And now he has like decent plays, right? But if he breaks and like he has no rocket access, which is what we might have assumed and why we had the Veilers in our deck, we're going to be targeting our disruption for this Romulus. And that is what I'm going to be holding stuff for. So he takes his time to think here, and I mean, this is why I had to be aggressive with my damage. He was Rom, and here I am from right, because I think this is going to be the biggest way he pushes through my field and makes a big play. I want to deny rocket access. So he has quick launch. Yeah, I had Ash, not Imperm. And again here, cut off rocket access. Thankfully, it's not a hard drawn tracer because that Imperm turns it off. That was probably the card he drew for turn because he would have been able to play a lot more if that was the card he had. Gives me some good information. Now I'm like, okay, what's next? And then he decides to drew a Swerve. Okay, definitely another card he drew. And my read's panning out. I mean, that's fine, right? Like, if he attacks here, this is not enough damage to do anything. This doesn't force me to nib. Can I even nib at this point? Maybe not. He attacks. I'm still up in life, so like, okay, he can't take a while. We just Heraxio passes. We already need. So now I can just push. Super easy. I'm gonna drew Mourner for turn, and that was super funny. Or maybe I already had Mourner and I didn't have Veiler. I know I had Effect Negation. And the Mourner here gonna have a funny lethal. So I'm just special summoning a bunch, putting my bodies in play. And I don't want to lose to Nibiru again. That's like the one way I lose. So I think I make blue slug here. And I probably should have made it with the defense mode monster, but I decided to do this. I decide later that I'm not going to be pushing. Or no, I did. I make blue slug. Do I make blue slug here? I make blue slug here. Okay, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. That's what I do. And then I think here I decide to go battle phase because this is going to force a nib. It should. And if he doesn't nib me here because he thinks he'll live, then he'll still die. And you'll see why in a second. The Sea Angel attacks weakest one. He blocks, bounces back. Then enemy, that's fine. That's good follow up for me anyways. Yeah, I lose the bounce, but it's okay. And he summons Magnum up there. And I use Mourner. He's going to use the effect, but I tell him, like, hold on, I'm trigger one. The Mourner comes down first on the Magnum. And the effect won't be negated because he'll be chanting 2. The effect will resolve. But now he takes the burn from the Magnum dying. So he takes 2,500 damage. And then the 2 blue slugs attacking directly for 1,500 each is 3,000. So he takes 55. He took 27 last turn. And yep, that's game. So easy lethal shot there. I'd have to overcomplicate things. And I played around Nib still. Because if I got Nibiru, I would have had many like ways to push past that. So yeah, I'm happy with how I played that. Feel like it was a good way to end round 2, and the matchup felt pretty comfortable, though obviously you didn't have the best hand game 3. Anyways, 1 round to go. Can we get our winning record at locals? All right, so we are ready for round 4. Can we close out locals in a positive way? Yeah, no, I'm feeling it right now. You know, you get a bit discouraged when you lose round 1. No matter the tournament, it's always a bit upsetting. And especially, like, you know, I haven't played locals in a while. I'm thinking this won't be that hard. You get a bit cocky and you get a nice punish. So at least we didn't go 0-2 or anything. I was a bit scared losing game 1 to a matchup I was uncertain about in round 2. But, you know, clawed our way back. We're on the bubble, so to speak, for being winning in for prizing. And we lose it all here. So we go 2-2 in rolls, which, you know, that's average. And I can never complain about that. And we'll see what we're against. I don't know what opponent's playing here. And they start off with Saphira. I'm like, oh, it's Voiceless. I'm a bit scared of this because Sarvis, like the ritual monster, is really good against Marincess. You don't have a great way to force it out, and the non-targeting means all your effect negation is way worse. And that also means that your wave can't be used offensively either, right? And they get big monsters, so it's kind of rough. So he summons the Skull Guardian here, and then he can revive with low, so that's rough. Like, he gets 2 effects here. Now I have double effect negation. So I probably have to use it to stop him from getting the Sarvis and stop him from setting up the spell. So I'm like, okay, this is fine, but having the gate I have to play through, which is still kind of ass. Anyways, it resolves. I'm like, okay, whatever. Hopefully this is all for his turn. And then he activates the barrier. Now, barrier is rough. Like, you probably should have played barrier first because I wouldn't have been able to imperm the low if he did. He would have got the trap access. But either way, this means he gets Sarvis, and the Sarvis is so rough. Like, I'm down 2 cards now, and he's still going to have 2 negates at the very least, as well as all this follow-up that I just can't manage with. Thankfully, he doesn't have the spell, so he has to shuffle from hand, and that's like some sort of consolation prize. But this is still going to be hard for me. And I have to think of how to play through negation in two methods, right? And targeting is not going to be an option this turn at all. It's just so rough for my deck. If he negates this Pascal's here, my only extenders are Dive and Spring Girl. I didn't actually have either of them, so I think I would have lost in the spot. Although I assumed that my opponent would like not stop that. They let the Sarvis come out first instead of leaving himself exposed, play around talents and such. And I think that's fair. So I still press forward this way. Okay, I get 2 bodies in field now. So now with 2 bodies in field, the negate's not as impactful with the Skull Guardian, but the Sarvis still is going to be a problem. So I'm thinking of how to do it. What's important to note is Blue Tang has to be sent to the grave for the material of a Link monster. I'm pretty sure that means if Sarvis negates the Link summon, I don't even get to excavate Blue Tang, so I have to keep that in mind as well when I'm Link summoning. And honestly, I'm not sure what my play is supposed to be here. I don't know how I push through this. I need to connect the Link on the field so I can summon Seahorse. So I figure maybe I summon Blue Slug with Piscalis. That way it's less likely he negates it. And then I can get the Seahorse in the field, and I have even more extenders, and that's kind of cool. Here I'm just explaining the cards, like the Mandarin and Grave. So summon Blue Slug, I think, right? Let's see what I do. I'm deciding which one to link with. I summon Blue Slug. I summon, I think, on the wrong column. No, I summon on the right column. Okay, cool. Because then I can summon Sea Angel, and then summon Mandarin. Also zones that it points to, because I'm pretty sure Sea Angel should point to the left. And one of the games, I think I messed up my zone placement, and it was kind of awkward. I just did it here. It's the same thing. Okay. Yeah, because if I didn't put the Sea Angel there, then I wouldn't be able to summon the Seahorse. See if he negates this. I'll be able to negate this because it stops me from getting to dive. The thing is, if he holds the negates for my Zelantis, I have no way of forcing it through. So I get Battle Ocean in hopes that the high attack point threat will eat a negates. And I can always get the Battle Ocean back, so that's kind of nice. Battle Ocean's very strong. I special summon the Seahorse, active Battle Ocean, and I think it does eat a negate. Which is pretty good. So I'm kind of letting him go through it right now, and I can chain block the field spell pretty well. I can't remember if Skull and the Guardian can negate effects or just activations. But even if it does negate effects, you can block with anemones and such effects to float. So he negates, which is fine. I can get it back. That's not a problem. Now it's just the Sarvis, and I don't know how to deal with it, like, in an effective manner. Like, if he enemies here, I can make a second enemy, I guess. But it's still so rough. Let's just go through, which is bad for me again, because how do I push through this? If I bring back a level 4, I can make a rank 4, like Bahamut or Toad. That should force it. Bahamut would force it, but it's eating 2 bodies. And here I think I just make a mistake. I think for some reason that if I get a Battle Ocean up to, and I summon an enemy, I can get it above Skull Guardian, and I can attack, and that would be how I play. However, what I end up doing is I think I make Marble Rock to try and see if he'll negate that, and to start adding back cards, and then threaten the enemy afterwards. And then that play I mentioned doesn't even work. It's so here I think for a while I'm about to play that's not even correct, which is pretty bad, pretty embarrassing. So yeah, I'm gonna link these away for this. Now I would have liked the way to get an enemy engraved sooner, so that way I can get the Battle Ocean here for this Marbled Rock, because then that would actually apply pressure, but it doesn't. He negates whatever. Now I still can't target. And the Quarrel enemy gets back Battle Ocean, which is neat. And then I think, okay, I'll go Bahamut Toad here, and then make an enemy, and then I'll get to add back a card off the Toad, so I have follow-up, and then I can attack with the enemy over the thing, and then I realize, wait, that's just not even enough attack points, so it's not going to matter. The other option here is Splash Mage into a rank 3 or link 3, but I don't have any. Marbled Rock is gone. Coral Triangle is too small. Not that I can even make it. That one requires Mercess monsters. Oh wait, I don't make Bahamut Toad. I think I realized my mistake. I thought maybe my only win condition is hitting Spring Girl. That's actually what it was. I had to hit Spring Girl because I realized my mistake. I realized that's the only way to get anywhere. Bahamut Toad wasn't really meaningful. So yeah, I just make an enemy, attach everything, and then I realized, wait, I'm just too small still. And I think I passed back under like some fake belief that I can win, but this is just stupid. I should just be conceding at this point. This is a lost cause game. I think in a second or two I'll realize, yeah, what am I doing? What am I playing for? Yeah, I'm like, why am I playing this out? Like, I'm not going to win the grind game here. I'm not going to be able to recover, so I just concede, go next. That's fine. It's important scale. I should have conceded like 5 minutes sooner, probably. Very part of playing. And if I knew my deck a little bit better, which, you know, isn't a good excuse, but as I practice Mercess more, I probably would have recognized faster the correct play. Also would have checked for the blue tank earlier, because that's like the integral part of my win condition. And once I get that far, then that's what I do. Then yeah, I would have conceded faster. Now maybe I should have linked the blue tang off sooner, to Triforce the Saravis. I don't know if he even would have negated it, but if he would have negated it, even if I don't resolve the blue tang, I can just bring back the blue tang later and then link it away. And in retrospect, like if I was going to be resolving splash mages and enemies, and I could have resolved those once I got that far, then I should have probably linked it away at the start. A bit of a silly mistake, but oh well. Because I'm pretty sure with the ruling that changed a couple years ago, right? If you negate the summon of the blue slug or whatever, I can summon a second one. And as I go first here and open up like the extender Pescalis plus Seahorse, my hand's pretty good through disruption. He imperms the blue slug, which I think is a mistake. It's not really worth stopping. It's pretty much the same as any other extender here, and he ashes. So he probably should have. I mean, it's so hard to hand trap this deck, right? When you get to this point, that's what I'm talking about, right? Like, he had hand traps, but it's like because of the way I opened, he just had no good use for them, like ever. And I still haven't used the effect of Seahorse to summon. I think if he impermed the Pescalis, then ashed the Sea Angel, I wouldn't have been able to get the Bubble Reef here. I still would have been able to get this far because I still would have been able to go like Seahorse as an extender, like go Blue Slug, add back, summon Seahorse, summon Sea Angel. He ashes there, and I got this far. But now I can't get the Bubble Reef up, so he could have stopped me a little bit better. But obviously, 2 hand traps to stop a draw is like not great. But here, Bubble Reef is fantastic. Again, if I can get this above 41, then that'd be crazy because then I can't be killed. I think I end up drawing a weird combination of like Veiler plus Imperm plus Wave, which is like great if they don't have Barrier. And then I'm pretty sure he activates Barrier, and I'm like, shit. Well, if he has Skull Guardian plus Low, I'm just like boned. He adds Saphira, and I'm like, oh no, this is gonna end badly. And he adds Saravis, I think, which will check one of my targets as well. So I'm like, okay, well, like at the very least, the Low should probably not going to be on field immediately if he does have a Low. And then I can, you know, imperm the Skull Guardian and won't be big enough to attack over Bubble Reef. He does have Low, which is really scary because now I have to negate here or never at all. So I'm going to negate here. Stop it from doing that stuff. That'll come out now, and that can set one from deck. And now if that gets the trap, I'm probably just screwed because I can't use Wave. I was hoping maybe he'd Saravis the Veiler, and then I'd be able to chain Wave. I need Wave to resolve, but yeah, no, the trap screws me. Thankfully here he gets another spell, so I'm thinking, okay, maybe he sided out the spell or he drew it. If he said it, then I should expect the spell. Since that's nothing, he sided it out. So that's info I have definitely learned here. I think he says he'll attack, and I'm like, dude, just like, it's fine, don't attack. First he says, nah, it's okay, and then I'm like, are you sure? Because he'll lose on the spot if he crashes here. And then he says, okay, fine. And then just sets and passes. I'm like, okay, that's the trap or an imperm. Probably a trap based on the way this played out. And now I feel like, okay, like thankfully that trap wasn't in deck. That would have probably lost me the game there. All these Veilers and imperms in my hand. I'm going to do another one for turn. Just doing literally nothing are so rough. So I'm really relying on what I have in play, and that's about it. And he does have the one negate still. So I still have to navigate this one negate properly. If I get caught in a point where I get negated and I don't have any, and I have a monster in field and I can't use triangle, then I could actually be locked out of playing. Then I have to be careful of what's probably a pop face down. So I use Spring Girl here. This is Spanish. I need chains here just to flip it up, which is weird. You probably should have just held it. Yeah, I link away, and I just want to get resources back to my hands. And ways also that I can also crash monsters in so that I can go main phase 2, add triangle if I need to. Yeah, so Sea Angel. I chain block here to get my Battle Ocean. I think that'll be pretty important. I choose not to use Bubble Reef special summon here. I'm trying to remember why that was. I think it's just bad into the negate. Even though if he negated it, then triangle would have been live. So that's something I wasn't sure about. Maybe I could have done differently, especially if I'm adding back Blue Tang later. But here I revive, and I think he negates it. And like, okay, that's a low quality negate for him. You definitely should have tried negating a link monster to trade for multiple link bodies, not just one. Here I make an enemy to revive, and okay, I can keep extending. I have so many resources still, like I'm not concerned. How do I force through the back row though? I'm trying to remember what's the best way to do that. So I think I have to set up, yeah, so I have to get Battle Ocean this way because I forgot and search dive. So I went to the Battle Ocean this way. That way I can get an Argonaut to stop the trap, and then I can attack over with the rest. Make Marble Rock, and I think he just pops it here before I get to add back. Yeah, so he's just going to pop here, and I'm like, okay, that's fine. Now I have Coral Triangle, so this is the same thing as doing nothing. So I whiff, whatever, it doesn't matter. I can still play, so I'm not, like, too concerned. I'm just realizing that I lose every single game one I played this tournament. That's rough. Wow. I swear this deck is not bad game ones. My side deck wasn't even good, so you can't even, like, account my side deck to the reason I was, like, doing well. That's just, I think, variance. But maybe could play a little bit better in some cases. Either way, yeah, so here I got the triangle. I'm thinking, though, what do I triangle back? I haven't used Blue Slug yet. I also don't have 3 level 1s in Link 1s engrave. I can use Splash Mage still. I go for Marble Druck, though, because I haven't used the effect add back yet. I haven't normal summoned, then I also haven't used Blue Slug, so I can do quite a lot. Still, that's just me add back. Because my biggest thing here is I just need monsters. And I can Seahorse, special summon as well. And then I can add back again. And then summon again. And I think the main thing here is I get to Zelantis, right? That's what I'm going for. I'm just chain blocking. Or did I just go into Splash Mage? I just went to Argonaut. Okay, that's why I did. Yeah. So I just get the negate here because I figured that'll check his spell, which is important. From searching next turn, and then I can clear the field, right? So I'm debating here if it's worth me summoning a monster to bounce back his low with Argonaut. And I think I decided it is because that commits this normal summon. I'll imperm it. That's fine. I really don't care about the search. I have infinite imperms in my hands anyways. So I think because I do another imperm for turn, so I have like imperm face down, imperm in hand, and a wave. They are useless. So getting the low off the field is fine. It stops them from top decking like another monster and just linking, or like a diviner and forcing my plays that way. Now if your normal's low, it's just super easy to negate. And even though he has Sarvis, like I'll just chain a second one. Like it's not a problem. Yeah, they discard Severa, and I think I drew a bell at some point. No, this resolves. Okay, so this is a bit scary. I'm trying to remember what happens here. Oh, I droll him. Now he can't search for the field spell. Right. He has the ritual summon again. And he should have summoned the low first, for sure. And now I get to imperm on summon, and he can't summon the low. And he has 2 spells. This one doesn't matter. Like, whatever. So the low will be able to place here, but he's already used the trap, so it does nothing. And if he links, then I'll have another imperm and another wave. Yeah, but if he summoned the low there first, then the Skull Guardian would have been 4,100 attack, which still isn't enough to kill the Argonauts. I would have been fine, but at least he would have had a little more presence. He would have been able to... He can't even search into the drolls. Honestly, it doesn't do much, but... Honestly, it does nothing. I don't know if I need to imperm there. I was just thinking I needed to imperm it to stop the attack boost, but really didn't matter. And I had infinite imperments, but in retrospect, it actually just didn't do anything. So yeah, now we're going on to game 3, and I'm a bit concerned going second against this deck. I don't know how well I can do. That being said, you throw in all my hand traps. The targeting hand traps has been really shitty here, so I think I slimmed down on them. Although, I don't know, like, drawing like, these targeting hand traps when they just open up, like, Diviner or just open up Low can be pretty good. It's just, when they open up Barrier plus Saphira, it's, like, rather frustrating how ineffective your target effects can be. That being said, I have Ghost Rigger, I have Bistrels, I have Crows. They're in this deck for this matchup, so it's time to get good usage out of them. One game away from getting into our top cut at locals. And then, yeah, I'm still just, not sure how I want to side out my engine. What cards I want to take out. I think I took out a Seahorse, because I'm like, I don't know how good of an extender this will be. I'm playing through negates. Like Seahorse, you need cards on field. I'm playing through, like, removal negations. It's kind of hard, because you can't stick bodies. So I remember I didn't draw any of the Bistrels or Crows here, so if he has Diviner, I won't have, like, a fantastic answer. I don't have Valor Imperm here, so even, like, I don't get to do the other Trias stuff. He sends Trias, okay. I can open up 2 bells, which was a little bit, like, because obviously drawing double hand trap means you have less cards. But if I live the turn in a meaningful manner, then Bell will be good. He gets to the spell. And here, one of my side deck cards will pay off greatly. And we'll see that soon. Oh, he leads Saphir here first, so he can change his search. And I'm just making sure that I can Bell this, because I don't want him to get to the ritual spell. And because it adds from Grave and Resolution, doesn't target or anything, I can Bell here. and then it's just very important for me. Now we can search there. I go Stoke that, and that's fantastic. That's follow-up gone. That's extension gone. And it's protection gone. Super important for me. And this means Chaos Angel here for lights. I'm just double checking what it's immune to. Monster effects. Okay, so I can't Zelantis this, but I can wave it. I can attack over it. Like, I'm not gonna have a problem with that. So I feel fantastic. The biggest problem here is playing through a field. Lightning Storm in the back row. I only have the Pascalis to play, I'm pretty sure. I only have this extension, so I'm a bit weak to hand traps. Thankfully, he's low on cards, and I have another Bell, so I should be okay. And after I get to this point and this resolves, you know, I should be able to play through most stuff, and I also have guaranteed follow-up now, so I'm rather comfortable. A Veiler there would have hurt. The Imperm would have probably ended my turn as well. Though Lightning Storm, you know, could have been any Marincess extender, and I would have done the exact same thing, or even Monster. I think I already had Battle Ocean in hand. So yeah, this is actually another important part. I already had Battle Ocean in hand. However, I decided not to special from deck because I realized I win this game at this point anyways, as long as I don't get ashed on dive. So if I'd gone Battle Ocean and then dive, the only way I lose the game, the only way, is if I got stopped. If I got ashed there. I'm pretty sure there's no Veiler. Veiler would have already been used. So that's why I didn't do that. And I don't think he had Ash, but yeah, I think that's why I didn't dive special from deck there. I just wanted to revive, and you can't Ash the dive effect to summon from grave because it has like little the dots, so you pick which effect you're using on activation. Yeah. Then he pre-preps. The second Bell comes in clutch there. He has 2 cards left, and like I have this spell negate still. Yeah, low there is fine because again I can negate the spell. He goes for the search, negates. I bring one up. I follow up, and yeah, I mean, I'm just in a very good spot now. He has 1 card left, and it's a ritual deck. Ritual decks can't play well with 1 card. Like the 1 card here, you need a Saphira. I think we see here just makes Typhon. Okay, so now I know I'm safe. I have plenty of follow up. That's his Argonaut. Okay, cool. My cards die. He doesn't want to let me add back up an enemy. Like whatever, that's fine, and he'll just die here. I just have more than enough to win the game here. Yeah, the dive special from deck, and here if he ashes now, I don't mind. I still have plenty of follow-up. Blue Tang will be the nail in the coffin. I guess it's just extended fully. I kept in Mandarin here because I figured there were plenty of game, or like when playing through negates, you wanted to go as wide as possible. It'd be pretty good. Although I think I just go Seahorse because it all would have been the same level of extension anyways. I think Bahamut Toad, just play around Nibiru's last card. Even though he can't Nibiru under Typhon, I just figure it's fine. He's also already taken damage last turn, so I'm just doing some math. Flash Mage, just bring back that. Just all this extension is just so much. Yeah, and then I think here I just realized if I just link everything away, it's just game. Let's add back a bunch of cards. Special summon it. Yeah, you can see here like how the deck this deck's follow up is just really powerful. Like it should not be understated. I'm just doing math here, and I'm pretty sure if I just make Bubble Reef and attack, it's game. So it's a bit weird with the field spell. You have to count that as well. Because at first I was thinking I'll go Argonaut and I'll bounce back the Seahorse, and I just won't put it. I won't give it the attack boost from Bubble Reef. I mean from the Battle Ocean, and it's avoid the Typhon. But no, I can just summon this attack in this game as well. So whatever. And then play around Nib because he can't even Nib me. With the Typhon on field. Yeah, and this should just be enough to attack for game, and that's it. We are victorious. And yeah, so that was Marincess, and hope you guys learned stuff, but we got some prizes coming up, so we're not done yet. And that brings the tournament to an end, guys. We ended up 3-1 with our Marincess deck here, and this is the deck list we played with the minor adjustments from the video that I showed you guys last week. And we also included 3 Pot of Desires over Prosperities, again because our Marincess Sensei told us that Desires was more worth the risk than Prosperity, and Prosperity's cost was actually more than I made it out to be. And Desires was solid for me, so no complaints there. But yeah, this is what I played, and then obviously the side deck is very on-the-fly thing. I wouldn't recommend this type of side deck, but again, go for these types of principles, where you have stuff for the matchups your main deck doesn't cover as well, the matchups you aren't as well prepared for, Tier and Voiceless, for example, and stuff to make your going first better, right? So, Torrential Tribute and Strike to beat that Nibiru, it was super important. And then also versus Exosister, we saw came up for Shifter as well, which is another real thing you will have to fear. This is not a deck that can play Shifter super easily. It's not like Flu or Kashtira. In fact, I'd say you can't play it at all. It's pretty much as deadly against you as it is against other decks. And yeah, so we didn't get to play against any fire, but hopefully I proved that this deck is, you know, a strong and playable option. You could see my deck can get hand trapped, and that'd be fine. How it was consistent, I'd have a lot of hand traps, and then I could play through fields and interruptions to a decent extent as well. And you can see my boards were relatively strong, and you got an idea for how the deck played. Now that doesn't mean that I played perfectly, and doesn't mean the deck list was perfect either. Remember, I said there were some changes I'd make. So let's say, for example, you want to take this to an event and you want to maximize your chances of winning. The side deck I would change. So for example, I may include more Bestials or more Crows. Maybe just more Crows I think is better versus specifically Voiceless when they do the Trias line. You can punch them a lot harder. I also would probably play Different Dimension Ground and Deck Lockdown as my going first cards. I think Deck Lockdown doesn't hurt your deck that much. It really only hurts a little bit on stuff like Sea Angel, and it's so powerful that over stuff like Summon Limit or whatever, I'd rather play that. And if you get hand trapped, and then you use Summon Limits to stop them from playing, it hurts you more than the Deck Lockdown would. So that's why I'd lean towards Deck Lockdown. And the Different Dimension Ground is the same, where Different Dimension Ground is broken against you, but when it's their turn, it's not that big of a deal. Yeah, 1 or 2 cards may get banished, but not super important. So I'd probably lean into those going first. I did like Ghost Ogre because I think it's pretty good versus Voiceless, and then it can also catch in some other rogue matchups, which is pretty good. Let you cycle out some of the worst hand traps into better ones depending on, you know, what deck you're playing against. And I thought that was pretty good. And now the Lightning Storms and Duster, I'm not sure if they still have merit because, you know, there's not that many backrow decks in the format, and I wouldn't really call Labyrinth a backrow deck either, so you wouldn't put this in versus those. But, you know, I just kind of threw them in there because maybe they'll be okay. One other thing that I felt myself kind of wanting in the extra deck, although you can definitely work without, is the second Bubble Reef. Especially if Bubble Reef gets banished, it could be very well worth it to play second to, you know, get these powerful kill shots and cycle resources better. You know, if it goes to grave, though, you can get it back with either Marbled Rock or an enemy or Blue Slug. So there are ways to get it back. It's not like it's gone forever. And Bubble Reef is just a really good card, and hopefully you saw in the video what I meant by that card is severely underrated, where you'd think the Negate in Argonaut would be better. The better card is certainly just Bubble Reef. Very, very powerful. So hopefully now you guys can see how Princess can be a winning deck. With all these hand traps, with all the different combos, with all the ability to play through hand traps, it definitely has what it takes to do well at a tournament, and all for the price of under $30. I'll see you guys all next time. Peace. Thank you guys for watching the video. A great way to support the channel is to get the TSX1 sleeves on tsx1.com. These are the sleeves I use at every event. They are fantastic quality. They feel really great to shuffle in your hand, your deck, fanning out your grave. They just slide really smoothly, and they last the entire tournament, so you're not compromising quality either. Use the code POTATO10 on the website. You'll get 10% off across everything.